6,500 dead, at least. Workers from India, Nepal, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, and Pakistan dying on construction sites in Qatar every week for 10 years. While a stadium was being built for the World Cup, the 2022 World Cup brought FIFA a record profit, $7.57 billion, the most profitable tournament in the organization's history. FIFA created a fund for those affected, $50 million, for healthcare, education, workers' rights around the world. Not for the families of the dead, just a fund with similar words in the description. This is not a story about football. This is a story about a system, and we are about to show you how it works. The Guardian conducted an investigation in 2021, requested data from the embassies of 5 countries: India, Nepal, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Pakistan. Result, at least 6,500 deaths of citizens from these countries in Qatar since the World Cup was awarded. Qatar's official position was different: 3 deaths. Directly on stadium construction sites: 3. In November 2022, journalist Piers Morgan asked World Cup chief Hassan Al-Thawadi directly how many people died on World Cup-related projects. His answer, in between 400 and 500. From 3 to 500. Live on television. Foreign workers make up 90% of Qatar's population. 2,800,000 people, building infrastructure for a tournament that would bring the country image, investment, influence. In May 2022, Amnesty International demanded FIFA should allocate at least $440 million in compensation. That number was not random, but it matched the tournament's total prize money exactly. FIFA allocated $50 million for programs around the world, not for the families. For comparison, after the tournaments in South Africa, Brazil, and Russia, FIFA created similar funds of around $100 million each, twice as much, without 6,500 deaths in the background. December 2nd, 2010, FIFA's executive committee votes on a single day 2 decisions: the 2018 World Cup to Russia, the 2022 World Cup to Qatar. Qatar, a country with no football history, no stadiums, summer temperatures above 50 degrees Celsius, beats the United States in the final round of voting. In 2023, journalist Armin Rosen from Tablet magazine obtained documents, bank records of an account linked to Qatar's diplomatic mission in London. According to these documents, from February 2009 to December 2010, more than $553 million was paid to 22 people, $330 million to 14 members of FIFA's executive committee, the same people who voted on the hosts. Among the recipients, Russia's sports minister Vitaly Mutko, head of Russia's 2018 bid committee. According to the documents, around $106 million in 2 transactions, $46 million in February 2009, $21.5 million in December 2010, on the day of the vote. Qatar rejected all the allegations. The documents were never reviewed by any court. The strangest thing about this story is not the numbers themselves. It is that 15 years have passed, and the world still has no answer whether these payments were real. FIFA conducted its own investigation, the Garcia Report. Completed in 2014, FIFA published only a summary. The investigator himself, Michael Garcia, resigned, calling the published version incomplete and erroneous. May 27, 2015, 5 in the morning, Zurich, the Baur Hotel, 5 stars, one of the most expensive in Europe. Swiss police, acting on a US request, enter the rooms and arrest 7 senior FIFA officials, days before the organization's Congress. The US Department of Justice unseals a 47-count indictment. 9 FIFA officials and 5 marketing executives, charges, racketeering, wire fraud, money laundering, total bribes and kickbacks over 24 years, more than $150 million, later revised upward, more than $200 million, 41 people. The US has no law against private commercial bribery. So, prosecutors use the racketeering law, the same one used against the mafia. Attorney General Loretta Lynch called it systemic, deep-rooted corruption. But the most interesting character in this story is not one of the people arrested in the hotel. Chuck Blazer, American, General Secretary of CONCACAF, the Football Confederation of North and Central America, member of FIFA's Executive Committee, lived in Trump Tower in New York, rented a separate apartment for his cats. In 2011, the FBI and IRS stopped him on a Manhattan sidewalk. He was riding a mobility scooter. 10 years of unpaid taxes. Blazer agreed to cooperate. Became an informant. For years, he recorded conversations with colleagues. At the London Olympics in 2012, he wore a keychain with a hidden microphone. Pleaded guilty to 10 counts. Confirmed. Bribes for votes on the 1998 and 2010 World Cup hosts. Received a lifetime ban from football. Died in 2017 before sentencing. This is not even the craziest part of this story. Subscribe. The worst is still ahead. Sepp Blatter, FIFA president from 1998 to 2015, re-elected 4 times, decades of corruption allegations throughout his career, and every time he survived May 29th, 2015. 2 days after the Baur arrests, Blatter is re-elected FIFA president for a 5th term. Days later, he announces he is stepping down. What finally stopped him? A payment of 2 million Swiss francs. Blatter transferred this money to Michel Platini, head of UEFA, and the leading candidate to become FIFA's next president. Officially, for consulting work between 1998 and 2002, the money arrived in 2011, 9 years later. FIFA's ethics committee suspended both men in October 2015. In December, an 8-year ban for each. Platini's path to the FIFA presidency? Over. The path for Gianni Infantino? Open. And then it gets interesting. A Swiss court reviewed the criminal case against Blatter and Platini. Twice. In July 2022, acquitted. Prosecutors appealed. In March 2025, acquitted again. Blatter is 89. Called the process a witch hunt. Platini, there was no corruption, no fraud, nothing at all. Dozens of people around the world received real prison sentences in this case. Juan Angel Napu, 9 years. Jose Maria Morin, 4 years. The 2 most powerful men in the organization's history, acquitted. Twice. 2008, Sheikh Mansour bin Zayed Al Nahyan, Deputy Prime Minister of the UAE, buys Manchester City through Abu Dhabi's State Investment Fund. 2011, Qatar's Sovereign Wealth Fund buys Paris Saint-Germain. 2021, Saudi Arabia's State Fund, PIF, chaired by Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, buys Newcastle United for £305 million. Amnesty International called it sportswashing, a direct reference to journalist Jamal Khashoggi, murdered by Saudi agents in 2018. The Premier League accepted legally binding assurances that the Saudi state would not control the club, while the fund is personally chaired by the Crown Prince. In February 2023, the Premier League charged Manchester City with 115 breaches of financial rules, covering 2009 to 2018. The hearing concluded in December 2024. There is still no verdict, and this is not just happening at the state level. FATF, the global anti-money laundering watchdog, said back in 2009 in an official report that football clubs are a perfect vehicle for criminals. Player transfers, image rights, agent fees, all of it creates money flows that are extremely difficult to trace. In 2022, international transfers exceeded 20,000 deals. Total club spending, $6.5 billion, up a third in a single year. Only in 2024 did the European Union finally bring football clubs and agents under anti-money laundering law for the first time. When people are asked which organization is the most corrupt of the 21st century, they usually think of politicians, of governments, of the corporations from our previous videos. But the organization that the FBI investigated using laws written for the mafia, the U.S. Department of Justice, literally applied the RICO Act, a statute against organized crime. That organization still runs the most popular sporting event on the planet. Officials went to prison. The president and his successor were suspended by the ethics committee, and acquitted by courts. Twice. Documents describing $500 million in payments were never reviewed. 6,500 deaths became a $50 million fund. And in a few weeks, billions of people around the world will turn on their televisions, watch the next World Cup, without remembering a single fact from this video. The system did not just survive every scandal, it became stronger. Welcome to Vaultside.